Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mike Lindsley, back with you. It's 9 minutes with me. Behind me, I am at Glazed and Confused, the official donut shop of the ML Sports Platter. I walked into this place, and I couldn't believe how great it smelled. In fact, I could smell it driving up here before I got a couple of big-time donut boxes here, and I'll show you the case of all the donuts before we're done here on 9 minutes with Mike Lindsley. Thanks to Glazed and Confused. Get here, glazedsyr.com for their website. They have vegan, gluten-free days on Wednesdays and Saturdays. They've got a potpourri of unbelievable donuts behind me in that case, going from the classics to some of the gourmet, fancy ones. This place is amazing. Check out all their themed donuts as well and follow them on social media everywhere at Glazed SYR right here on Clinton Street in downtown Syracuse. I want to get into a topic that I brought up today on a podcast with Clark Kellogg from CBS Sports. During Rapid Fire, I asked him, who's on your college basketball all-time Mount Rushmore for players? And he, started right away with Lou Alcindor, and I agree with that. When you talk about dominance, you talk about winning, you talk about innovation, I don't think there's any doubt that Lou Alcindor is on the Mount Rushmore. I think in addition to that, you've got to stick with UCLA, and you've got to go with Bill Walton for a lot of the same reasons. Both of those guys revamped the center position at the collegiate level. We had never seen as dominant, versatile, great centers with footwork, with the skyhook jump shot, with on the Alcindor side, who ended up being Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then on the Walton side, a guy who was just that good, that versatile. He was a five-tool center with unbelievable work ethic, unbelievable footwork, and unbelievable passing skills. So I think those two guys are on there. From a straight-up scoring standpoint and ball handling standpoint, that combination for me puts Pete Maravich on the Mount Rushmore. I know what Bob Cousy did at Holy Cross. I still think Bob Cousy might be the most underrated college basketball player of all time, because if you think about the point guards that played for the next several decades in college basketball, think about the combo guard, the point guard handle, all the different things that you have to do as a point guard at many places. Bob Cousy started a lot of that at Holy Cross. Here's the thing, though. Maravich was an absolute scoring machine, and he did those types of things. He had the wizardry with the college ball as well. So I'm going to put Pete Maravich on there. Now, this is where, as Clark Kellogg said, it gets really, really tricky. That fourth spot is always the hardest in terms of Mount Rushmores. You're always kind of trying to decide one way or the other. Impact, innovation, statistics, winning. I mean, you name it. It's across the board. I think that the fourth spot is kind of up for grabs from players, or between players like Patrick Ewing and David Thompson. I think you could probably insert Christian Laettner in there, believe it or not, because of how much he won at Duke. But here's the thing. How I separate this with impacts, because all those players I mentioned, they have in common that they won, they have the numbers, there's a lot that they all have. But what guy made an impact similarly to the way Lou Alcindor did, Bill Walton did, and Pete Maravich did? To me, impact is a big part of putting together Mount Rushmores in terms of sports. And so for that very reason, I'm going to go with Patrick Ewing. I really am. I'm going to put him on the college basketball all-time Mount Rushmore, because you have to remember what was going on in the 1980s. It was predominantly a sport that didn't have a ton of edge. It was a sport that was kind of struggling in some of the urban areas. The NBA was kind of down, in the beginning of the late 70s until Magic Johnson and Larry Bird got there and full